A very good evening and welcome back to my channel. Always lovely to connect back with you. Before we dive into the details, let's hit it off. So, do designer stores feel intimidating to you? Let's face it, we've all been there in some stage of our life where we have actually felt that little intimidation walking into that designer store. So, today I will cover all aspects of why we feel that, how to overcome that, because this also will help us expand ourselves through some of the personal traits that we need to address anyway, because they are all interlinked. I may be talking about this particular topic because it flows into the genre that I'm creating, the content that I'm creating, but it may very well be also good for our own personal growth. So, one of the reasons that you might be feeling intimidated is because you feel unworthy. And that unworthiness can stem from a lack of confidence that you feel inside, some insecurity that is inside you when you were growing up, because maybe you did not grow up in a certain strata of society, and we have all been there. So that aspect of your own self need addressal anyway, because it is also going to reflect in other areas of your life. So we might be talking about a topic related to the brands and the designers, but trust me, if we walk through this, it's going to expand yourself, because it is also a topic that needs self growth. So let's dig deeper into it before we move on. One thing that you need to do is sit with yourself and explore or reflect and see where that insecurity or lack of confidence or unworthiness is coming from. Trust me, when you sit with yourself, it's gonna stare in your face, because that awareness will bring that particular aspect of yourself forward. So the moment you become aware of the issue, trust me, that is the first step that it actually starts to dissolve without looking for a solution, because so far it was your unconscious pattern that you were actually playing through without even being aware of it. And the resistance to looking at and addressing it is what makes it bigger, because a lot of times we don't want to look into the mirror to see what our shortcomings are, or what that insecurity is, or where we are feeling that lack. Because let's face it, it's a harder thing to do than distracting yourself. Distraction nowadays is extremely easy. So trust me when I say that as soon as you sit with yourself and you become aware, it's the process of dissolving has already started. The other thing that you can do, now that you're aware of what it is that was bothering you, is raise your vibration. And in this particular video, I'm actually taking a very different approach, because if you have listened to my earlier videos, I've always spoken about internal journey reflecting on our outward being. This time, I'm actually going the other way around. What I'm trying to bring forward is how you can raise your vibration by actually taking an external look to yourself. Let me elaborate on that further. So okay, so the awareness has happened at least to a certain extent. The second thing to do is dress up yourself. I'm not kidding. Dress yourself up in the way that you think you're looking your best. Trust me, it will raise your vibration, it will elevate and enhance your attitude, because the moment you enhance yourself, the moment your vibrations are raised, you start operating out of a very different space. And I would also like to actually add this bit, that although we might be talking about feeling that in a branded store, but trust me, this will also help for your own expansion and self growth in other aspects of your life, because it is a reflection of something that was deeply conditioned within you when you were growing up, or maybe it was an experience that has actually stayed with you, which has never been addressed, which is now coming in the form of insecurity. And all of these, including the topic of feeling that intimidation, getting into the brand store, these are just trigger points. So I've taken one trigger point, but I'm trying to cover various aspects of your own self. And the approach that I'm taking is again, a slightly different approach. So getting back to dressing up, the moment you dress up, and this stands true in any situation. If you need a quick way to elevate yourself in terms of your vibration, push yourself out, make yourself, groom yourself, pamper yourself, and you will feel a difference in the way that you are. So now we have covered awareness of the issue, dressing up, and raising your vibration. Another thing that you can do is a self-talk. So tell yourself before you enter the store that it is okay for you to feel that. Secondly, please tell yourself that you will not get intimidated or pressurized by the sale assistant and get yourself into a situation where you feel that pressure so much that you need to be impulsive about it. When you do that self-talk, again, it is coming into your awareness. So now you're doing your homework, which is actually a self-work that you're putting in before you walk into that situation. So now you're more aware, and this definitely helps. So now we have covered three bases: for the awareness, the vibration, and the self-talk of getting into that situation. So now it's not going to catch you by surprise, right? Because a lot of times it becomes harder for us to respond to a particular situation because you're not prepared. So now you're prepared. Now when you walk into that store, the first time you do it, you will still feel a little intimidation, but it's going to be experientially less intense than it was the last time, because now you are actually walking in with a lot of self preparation. When you walk into that store, again, what you're doing is you're expanding your horizon, you're pushing your boundaries, you're actually getting out of that comfort zone. And one of the reasons I've actually chosen this particular topic is you will see how many areas of self growth and self expansion would we be able to cover just by talking about that intimidation factor that we feel going inside the store. So now that you have entered the store and you have done the self talk, and you have pushed your boundaries, you have expanded yourself to get into the store, then comes the lesson that we all need to learn in terms of your boundaries. Because yes, let's face it, that some of those sale assistants are very snobbish, and they are that way due to a certain reason, which I will again get into in the later part of the video. So knowing fully well that you are being judged by the sale assistant, you know what, don't let that intimidate you, because there comes the boundary. You're not there to please them. They are getting paid irrespective. You are there for your own self. Maybe you just need to browse. Maybe you just need to make yourself feel good about it. So, and that's why you're there. So just make a note of that aspect, that yeah, you know what, they might be judging me, but I will not let that intimidate me. So there is your boundary. That boundary we all need to learn in so many different aspects of our own relationship. Once you have created that mental boundary, trust me, you have elevated yourself in terms of your vibration to a very different space. It's going to be very difficult for that sale assistant to actually pressurize you into reacting to something that you don't want to. Now comes the part of how to deal with those sale assistants, the snobbish ones, and sometimes actually they are just downright rude. One thing that you need to remember is that they are getting paid irrespective, right? Maybe they're not getting the commission if you're not buying anything, but they're still getting paid for it. So just ease yourself off completely, because it is not your responsibility to make them feel good. Now coming to them, they are I think there is a certain value to being that way, because they are trained that way to make you feel a little less than who you are as a person, to pressurize you into buying something that probably you did not plan on. So that's a different mental pattern or a game that is actually happening there. In this particular case, while you have already done step 3, step 4 is look. So when they approach you and ask you if they can help you in any way, please look into their eyes and tell them that today you're not here to buy anything, but you would love to explore. Because then you're already setting up the expectation. This will also ease them off completely. Because a lot of times they also feel the pressure, because sometimes it's the other way around, that people end up spending a lot of their time without actually buying anything. So we need to be conscientious and sensitive about that aspect as well. But when you've already set that boundary, when you've already set that expectation that today you're only there to explore, now you have made them feel that sensitivity and they also kind of ease off. So these aspects will really help you be completely yourself when you actually walk into that store. And you know what, also, if you still feel that the sale assistant is being absolutely rude, you know what, just take your business elsewhere, because it's their loss. I think we've all seen Pretty Woman, and I'm just remembering that part where Julia Roberts actually walked into the store with all the bags and everything that she's shopped for. She comes to the sale assistant and asks her, "You work for commission, right?" And she goes, "Yeah." And then she shows her bags and say, "You know what? Big mistake." So you know what? Big mistake. If they're being rude to you, it's their loss. It's not on you. So walk out of that store and do not do business with them if they're being rude. If not, then we've already covered all the bases to know what needs to be done. Okay, now comes the part of how to dress up when you are going to buy or explore a designer anything. I think elegance always speaks for itself. Neutral, earthy, classic elegance always speaks for itself. What I would like you to not wear is fake brands. A lot of us, without even realizing, we will pick up a t-shirt that says something, but it really is not. And these sale people are very attuned to figuring out what's a fake brand versus what's real. So, avoid wearing a fake brand, avoid taking anything which is fake, obviously. Second thing is, do not wear like a athleisure wear. It gives a very, very casual vibe. So you don't want them to feel that you're just there, right? Because you have lost their interest anyway. The third thing that we can avoid wearing is very skimpy clothes, because then, in my opinion, you're trying too hard. So just be yourself. That does not mean, see, some people can carry these absolutely in a very confident way, and you know what, all power to you to do that. These are some of the very obvious things that I would avoid if there is a confusion in what to wear. One other aspect that I would also like to talk about is, a lot of times, if you are really there to buy something, it would help to do a little bit of research before you walk into that store, because then you can talk to the sale assistant and tell them exactly what you're looking for. Because when you do that, you have their attention, you're a serious buyer, because they also go through their entire day with a lot of people, especially in these branded stores, where they help them without anybody buying anything. Because let's face it, it's not like going to a Zara store and picking up something. These are expensive brands, so a lot of time the interest does not convert into a sale for them as well. So we also need to be sensitive about, if you're there to buy, then let's make it clear. Does not mean that you need to buy, because chances are that if you don't like anything, walk out of the store. But if you have done your research and you walk into a store with ABCDEs that we just talked about, I think you have them. You completely have them. And I think the whole experience of it will be something that you are there to feel. And it goes both ways. So there has to be a balance between how much we also ask of them versus how much they give to us. So there's the balance always works. So I hope you like the video. Like, share and subscribe, and share it with your friends and family if you like my content. Today I just did something a little bit different, because that whole spiritual aspect of life is also a very, very, very inherent part of who I am as a person. So I try to bring that also in some of my videos because, the expansion is the way to be for all of us. Till next time, this is Sonal signing off. It's always, always good to connect to you. I will be bringing more content. Stay tuned. Till the next time. Bye bye.